TradeTheNBA.com. This is John. This report is for the 21st, and while this market, continues to try and head fake everyone. So we ended up with our nice little green run, a little faked out short there. Then they made the secondary run that was on NBI white lead, and it was just a matter of waiting for that breakdown. And boom, it came not only in DOC spread at the same time. You ended up with your white crossing over red at that particular stage, and so from that 75.44 range all the way to the what was the open here for the end of that 75.13, so nice 30 points plus. Made a brief little attempt and then it caved from there, from the 19 and went all the way to 11, so another 10, and then you bought from 13 and went all the way to, where did that close, 30. It's back and forth. It's 20 here, 30 there. This one went from 31 to, what's the open here? Oh, 08. So another 20 plus points. And there's a brief long from that standpoint, but then we shorted again at 75.15, and that went to 74.94 open. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 74.89.90. So 90 from that 15, 25 more points. And it did that a couple more times here, back and forth. Then we ended up with the breakout return here in the Asian session, and then moved into the European slightly here to continue it. So another nice run to the upside here from the 90, and where we at? We just ended that one at 19. So it doesn't get any simpler than that. Don't even have to do anything. Just a matter of following the pink colors. This shows you from the decay that we're just caught in this range. It's a nightmare of nothingness for most, but that's where things are at, and it's going to remain in this malaise until something starts to break. You can start to see it happening here. Bitcoin taking a push to the upside. Interesting to see that finally breaking out. We've seen the consolidation. We knew that the breakdown was pretty much over from this particular stage as the magenta started to climb. Shorts really aren't doing anything. It's just a question of when we get the narrowing in the gap here. We still haven't seen cyan dip. That would be your strong, real hyper move, and particularly if orange breaks back down below it. It already done so here. So this is sort of like a second malaise attempt with the rising red. Yeah, if it gets there. Gold just popping back up into the zone, finally clears out the short setup, but the return to zero is pretty much set with the NBI white lead. Piece of cake. Euro faded just a little bit because, again, there's still that uncertainty of how much they're going to borrow and will it work. People are starting to question whether or not that's a viable option. It won't, but it sounds nice. It's just the problem is they don't have any control over power, and we have France closing nuclear power plants, just reducing their ability. Germany's already done the ending of their nuclear, inconsistent with their solar. It's a disaster zone, and they just make it worse. I mean, with the situation in the Middle East continuing to be unresolved, this is a problem. And it's a big headache, particularly if it's going to go into the fall. As temperatures change, it's going to be catastrophic for Europe. So they're already in recession, whether or not it's actively known, still the reality. So from the NQ, we had hit the zero, rising zero though. I mean, so that wasn't horrible from that standpoint. And probably back right about the 23. You can see magenta finally turning around over the NBI white. You still don't have a move of orange below green or anything, so any move back here is mostly going to be just some back and forth. And, it's not all that exciting overall. Better from the S&P standpoint, but a little more mixed. You can see we're still fighting between them, still major negative shakeout, though you haven't dipped below the red line. So if that can remain above the red line, that would be helpful, because you dip below the red line here, and that 50% is not safe. Definitely will break. So we just keep aware of things. It's literally just more uncertainty, but there's that point where the fear just doesn't do you any good, and if you're not seeing numbers that indicate recession, then you're still more biased to the upside. It's just the reality of it. Anyway, that's long and the short of it now. The reading's still excellent from that standpoint, so no objections there. Trade well. Have a good one. Anything relevant, I'll put in the team chat.